All right, everybody. I hope you're ready for some Diddy Kong racing with Leah. So take it away, Leah.
Hello, good evening. Well, it's evening for me. Good whatever time of day it is. I don't know what this game has to do with ducks, to be honest, but it does have a water vehicle. And yeah, it's like it. And we also do have a playable bird character, but we're going to be playing as TT the Clock. However, we do have a bid war going on at the moment, a donation bid war. You can make me play as one of 4 characters for the final boss. The choices are Crunch, Diddy Kong, Pipsy, and Banjo. Now, if you want me to suffer, you will make me play Pipsy, because she is the worst character. I don't care what casual players will say, Pipsy is the worst character in this game, fight me. But for the vast majority of this run, we're going to be playing as TT, because he is the fastest. So I think we're going to go ahead and get this thing started in 3, 2, 1, and go.
Good luck.
Yes, it's a common opinion that Crunch is the worst. And it's fair because he does have the worst handling by far. However, for speedrunners, I would say he's the 4th best because his speed is so high that a speedrunner can deal with the bad handling and make good use of him, although Banjo, who is slightly slower but has way better handling, does come out above Crunch. But yes, if you want me to have a bad time, you will donate to Pipsy. I was practicing just now and I really struggled with the final boss with Pipsy. But yeah, 100% is what we're going to be playing. As you might expect, this category goes through basically everything in the adventure mode. Only Adventure 1. If you want to see Adventure 2 being done, there's Adventure 2 100%, or if you want to see all of it, there's also True 100%. But yeah, this will just be Adventure 1. Immediately talk to Taj and switch to plane, because we have 4 overworld balloons we need to get.
Yeah, ducks can fly, this is close enough.
Yeah. This game has more... The game is duckier than you think. Unfortunately, I've immediately messed up the overworld, because, to be fair, it's actually a pretty difficult section to do on. This is not an ideal start. Ah! Okay, there we go. Just a lovely 20-second time loss to get us going. That's fine. I am not known for being good at Overworld. Okay, that balloon is a much worse one to miss, so at least I didn't miss that one. Yeah, nice and healthy about 16-second time loss to get us started. That's fine.
Get the timeouts out. Let's cut time loss out early.
Yeah, let's get people's expectations lower so they're more surprised when I definitely play really well. When I've definitely been practicing this category the whole time and not just playing time trials because I'm more of a time trial player. But so immediately our first race is Jungle Falls. It's not the first track, it's actually the 3rd one, but it is faster to do this track first because we can enter this track immediately. We have enough balloons to do so, and it is yeah, it's closer to us than Ancient Lake. Makes for faster menu movement, lobby movement. Right at the end, we're going to hopefully see something cool. No, not this time. Might be wondering why I paused there. Hopefully you'll find out eventually. For now, you gotta see this long cutscene of Taj awarding us a balloon. You probably will have heard that I was slapping the A button there, and that is the most common... It's the most popular speed tech in this game, which is A-tapping. Very common misconception I'm going to immediately clear up, because it's a misconception, is that it's mashing. It is not mashing. It is absolutely not mashing. It is rhythmic tapping. If you listen, you'll hear me doing it about 5 times a second. And even then it varies a little bit depending on what I'm doing. If I'm coming off a boost, I'll be doing it more slowly. Sometimes I speed up there, like I did right then. That's if the frame rate of the game is higher. I'll get more into frame rate stuff later, but for the most part, I'm tapping at a pretty healthy and sustainable 5 times a second, so not too bad at all, definitely not mashing. As some... yeah, definitely not mashing. So... nice. So that is a cutscene skip. There is one frame at the end of every race where you can pause and exit to the lobby rather than having to sit through the cutscene of being awarded a balloon. And that saves 6 seconds every time you do it, well, most of the time. Some of them save a little more, but most of them will save 6 seconds if you hit them. Depending on how fast you actually menu to do the cutscene skip, because of course you've got to react to getting it, lest you pause too early and then restart the race, so you have to do the whole thing again. Happened to all of us. Right, here we got, hopefully, a strat. Ugh, tree. The tree's made out of tree. Sometimes it's made out of air, but a lot of the time it's made out of tree, unfortunately. This is Fossil Canyon, and this is like the hardest... oh dear. This is commonly referred to as like the hardest second track ever in a racing game. Because it kind of is. This is the second track after Ancient Lake, but we play it third. There we go, much better. That is called Canyonless. We definitely didn't plagiarize that name from a certain Mario 64 strat. But let's see if we get it again here. No, we missed the balloon. Quite a difficult... whoa. Drift switch to grab that blue balloon there, and then hit the zipper as well. But if you get it all, you go very, very fast. And a first try cutscene skip. So we've just done 3 tracks in the car, but we're actually going to our first plane track now. Now, for most of this run, you'll get to know that being in the plane usually means one thing. And we're gonna do some unintended stuff. So, I'll explain barrel rolls a bit more later, but what you need to know about them is that 1, they make you fast, and 2, they make you ignore liquids, which includes lava. For some reason it doesn't hurt us, but... oh dear, almost barrel rolled too far. Did one too many. So if we barrel roll into the lava, we can ignore the fluid state of it and kind of go underneath the wall and then pop back up on the other side. And that lets us go out of bounds. So from there we only have 2 key checkpoints we need to hit. Skips a load of stuff in bounds, which is real nice. Okay, so we've only hit 2 cutscene skips and we've had some very, very shoddy driving so far, but it's fine. We have our first boss race coming up here. Yeah, I don't really know what to say about this boss. It's just a pretty simple drive up the top of the mountain. Nothing crazy to it. But I feel really nice. I'm going to give him a head start today. Just be extra nice, because usually we beat him by quite a bit. I even drift up the wall a little bit. Huh. That's odd. Well, I'll keep driving forward and see what happens. Just like that. There we go. We won the race fair and square. I think that counts.
I saw nothing wrong.
You might be wondering what just happened. So there is a spot there near the beginning of the track where some checkpoints from the end of the track will actually overlap and you can grab them at the beginning. There is a 50-50 chance that you exit that spot with the, I forget what number checkpoint it is, but with the number checkpoint that you won. And if you keep driving forward from there, it'll count down checkpoints until it hits the checkpoint that is like the finish line checkpoint, and then it will just win the race for you. That was found in 2017, so quite a while ago now, but it still feels relatively new. And yeah, you might be wondering why it's a 50% chance. That's because the checkpoint you get from that part changes every frame. It alternates. So half the time, it's effectively human RNG. Half the time you'll leave it with the correct one, and then half the time you won't. I feared this happening in practice, and it's just happened. So normally the minigames are pretty simple. I know exactly what I did wrong. Oopsie. That would have been fine, but I dropped an egg into my nest while one was already hatching. You want to wait for the second egg to hatch before you drop it in. Aside from that, that was okay. Good thing I know what to do there, if that goes wrong.
Yeah, hatching eggs sounds like selling ducks would do, so I'd say we're on brand still.
Yeah, don't worry about the fact that they contain dinosaurs, and yeah, we're fine. Dinosaurs are like... they're just like crunchy ducks. What?
I mean, dinosaurs allegedly have feathers, so...
yeah. So we now go into the silver coin races. So after you beat the first boss of the world, you will be tasked with doing all the races again. Except there are now 8 silver coins hidden around the track. You have to collect all of these and then win against stronger CPUs as well. So it's harder in 2 different ways. Of course, stronger CPUs still means we're going to be lapping them like every single time, but they definitely are faster still. And a note about the CPUs, unlike a certain other racing game on the N64 that is infamous for it, there is no rubber banding in this game, so CPUs are more like stationary obstacles that we'll encounter on laps 2 and 3 of any race, rather than things that are going to be chasing us the whole time. And it's... unless you do something severely wrong, it's very rare that you'll actually lose a race if you're a speedrunner. Unlike Mario Kart 64, whoops I named it, where there have been world records set in the 16 tracks, skips runs, where the runner actually gets second place in a track or 2. I'd say this is probably the hardest coin race in Dino Domain, which is fitting because this is the hardest track in Dino Domain. You can do Canyonless Lap 1, kind of, grabbing that balloon, but it's much easier, I would say, and not much slower to just ignore that balloon. Oh dear. Anything could happen in this track. The terrain is so bumpy. Such a volatile track. But now we have all the coins, we can go for a straight shot to the end. In that one, I held A when I landed to slow myself down because yeah, holding the accelerator to slow yourself down makes complete sense. Don't worry about it. I never actually explained what makes A tapping so fast. Essentially, you get a burst of acceleration when you touch the A button, but it also gives you traction onto the ground, so A-tapping helps to minimise the effect of the traction, which slows you down, while also maximising the boost from the acceleration. And you do it about 5 times a second, usually. But enough of that car, getting back into plane. So we still want to do the out-of-bounds in this track, but we want to do this a bit differently, because we've got silver coins to collect, obviously. So we want to actually get the coins inbounds first, so we're going to do lap 1 inbounds, and then go out of bounds on lap 2. Very fancy coin grab there, I found that, and it saves like 2 seconds, and I feel very proud of myself, because I don't usually find strats in this game. And back out of bounds. We have more bananas in the coin race than the first race, because we've had more time to go around the track and get some bananas. Bananas will speed you up much akin to coins in the Mario Kart games. They give us an additional 2.5% to our top speed and acceleration for each one we have, so having them is very, very important. They cap out at 10, so if you have 10 bananas, that is a 25% boost to your top speed and acceleration, which is enormous. And I'd say plane is the vehicle where you feel it the most, because it really affects your barrel roll spacing. So yeah, very, very important to have them plane. And really, any vehicle. We're nearly done with Under Domain though. We've got one more tricky race. We're going to do this the exact same way we did the first one. We're going to give them a head start, because we're so nice. And we're also going to pray we get the correct result on the coin flip. You know, usually marathon runs just happen to get, like, double first try. I don't know how. First and second try is perfectly fine. I'm quite bad at resetting the console quickly. I need to start doing the reset the console with your feet strats, because some runners have done that in the past. I have to reach a little bit to get mine, but yeah, we've reset the console because there is a long cutscene after finishing the boss that we just don't want to watch, so just gonna skip it.
If there's one thing you'd think speedrunners are good at, it's resetting.
Yeah, this is what we've been training for. So, before we go into our next world, we have Car Challenge here. There are 3 Taj challenges. There's one for each vehicle. Car Challenge is very, very simple. We just drive a donut 3 times. Oh, do not bonk. If you listen closely, you'll hear my tapping speed changing a little bit, depending on where I am. Right around this bit, it usually gets slower. And yeah, I cut across the grass a little bit because that's faster. Towards us a balloon. I've not done this quite right, should have done that a bit differently, that's fine. And switch back to plane. If you were on that Taj map, then honking will summon Taj wherever he is. Alternatively, you just have to alternatively you can get close to him and then summon him. But yeah, switch back to plane. And now we're in Snowflake Mountain, second world. You'll also notice I'm resetting at the start of every race here. It saves a little bit for each track. You only have to do it the first time you play each track, so not on the silver coin rounds. Yeah, the amount it saves depends on the track, but there's usually a cutscene of the camera panning around to show you the track, and it's like, we don't really need to do that. But yeah. Snowflake Mountain is a fan favourite world, I would say. And for being only the second world in the game, it's surprisingly difficult in speedrunning. Got some pretty tough tracks here, and this is no exception. Frosty Village is commonly known as Lag Village in the community. Actually it isn't, but I like to pretend it is. Because this is one of the laggiest tracks in the game. Now lag is a thing I've not talked about very much yet, but I am indeed playing this on an original N64, not an analog 3D, not an emulator. This is on good old official hardware. The side effect is that the console is doing its best, and sometimes its best isn't good enough. Nice, that's a hard cutscene skip to get. So yeah, lots and lots of lag in some tracks, and I'd say Frosty Village has some of the most lag out of any track in the game. Lots of fun boosts in this track. This is also probably the least consistent track in the game. Kind of anything can happen here. Got a key to get here. Nice, clean grab. That can go very wrong sometimes. Yeah, to elaborate a bit on the frame rate, this game's physics are dependent on the frame rate. It doesn't just slow down the game, but like have the physics run the same, like in some other games. Like Mario 64, Mario Kart 64. No, in this game the physics are actually tied to the frame rate, which they do to make the game feel smoother. Like if it's, you know, if the frame rate's dipping, instead of, you know, slowing down in real time. Yeah, it's nice. Consequence, of course, of having the frame rate affect the physics is that you need to, like, know what that implies. So, if you have a high frame rate, you'll be able to build speed more quickly. Because, you know, if you build speed, you know, once per frame, if you've got 30 frames a second, well, that's more frames on which you can build speed. So, that's money. So typically you want 30 FPS when you're starting to build speed, but then you want it to actually dip down in the second half of a boost, because, you know, if you lose speed every frame, you want less frames on which to lose speed. So that's kind of like typically how it goes. Most of the time when I've got music on, and music is also a thing that causes lag, most of the time when you've got music on, the game will be running at 20 FPS, maybe like 80% of the time. Sometimes it will dip down to 15, sometimes it will go up to 30, but most of the time with music on it will be 20. Got a bit of a hard time here. This is one of the few fully inbounds plane tracks. We haven't found an out-of-bounds here, we might never find one. This track's very airtight, not much we can do with this one, but it's a very, very fun inbounds plane track. See more of these barrel rolls and boost chains. I'll talk more about barrel rolls when we get to our next plane track. There's quite a bit to say about them, and plane track in general. Oh, whoops. I accidentally buffered another pause there. You can buffer inputs to take place after thingies like that. So you can buffer the start press. But yeah. This is, I would say, a fan favourite track. Very bumpy track in speedrunning, but it's... depending on who you ask, this is either a really fun track or an inconsistent nightmare. But this one's a real vibe with music on. Like, pretty much everyone agrees this has one of the best soundtracks in the game. In a game which already has a really good soundtrack. Oh, whoops.
What a surprise. A rare game on the N64 having good music. I've never heard of that before.
Oh, I'm lucky I didn't hit that finish line post there. I might get the balloon stolen here. Yeah. If you're too slow, then, well, by too slow I mean not on a really good pace on this track, then that balloon can get stolen. Nice. That's kind of a harder cutscene skip to hit. Generally you want to be moving really fast over the finish line, but I have like a lot of inputs going on there. Like I just did like a hard RB turn into the goal there. So it can be kind of hard to reach up to the start button during that. But yeah, not all cutscene skips are created equal, even though you'd think like, oh, well they're all frame perfect, shouldn't they all be the same difficulty? Some are harder than others. And fun fact, the frame rate also affects that. If you've got a higher frame rate, that means a smaller window to hit the cutscene skip. Okay, well I'm not going for the cool strat. RIP. This is our first hovercraft race, actually, despite not being in the hovercraft world. If I had gotten that first balloon there, I would have had a double balloon in that section, and I could have gone for a really cool strat known as the out of bounds, which, well, you go out of bounds, as you might guess. It's one of the only out of bounds you can do outside of plane. Surprising range of movement with all these vehicles, but finish that, and reset the console again, skip another cutscene. Unlike Dino Domain, we're not actually going to finish all of Snowflake Mountain in one go. And really that's not going to apply to any other worlds. Diner Domain's kind of the only one where we complete the regular races and the silver coin ones at the same time. Alright. We just had our first hovercraft race, now we have the second one. And most would say the worst. Right, so I've got no noise suppression on my mic, so you can hear all of my inputs. You can hear probably the vicious A-tapping, and you might also be able to hear and definitely see the joystick movements. So yeah, Hover is generally a casual's least favourite vehicle because it's not really intuitive how you're supposed to control it, but speedrunners tend to love it. Except for cases like this, where it wears out your hands very quickly. For starters, the snaking motion. There's an inbuilt speed mechanic to make the hovercraft feel better, where if you hold R and you turn, then it will build speed. So we basically abuse that and build speed on straightaways by constantly turning, and that is snaking. We can add A-tapping to that, except it's a different kind of A-tapping. In car, we're properly slapping the A button, but in hover, we're kind of doing like mushy A-tapping instead. We've got our thumb quite close to the A button at all times, and it's the release that saves time, rather than like the A-tap itself. So we're trying to... Whereas in car we're trying to tap for 1 frame at a time, in hover we're trying to release for 1 frame at a time. And the same goes for plane, although plane A-tapping is less common, for reasons we'll get into later. So we're now going into our third world here, even though we've not completed Snowflake Mountain yet. And thankfully we're going to a car track after 2 hover tracks in a row, so our hands can rest a little bit. Nice. That is the big boost chain you can do in this track. This is just a really great track, honestly. Like, it's a little polarizing sometimes, because not everyone likes this track. I admit I'm not the biggest fan of it myself, but when it goes right, it goes really right. You might hear I'm tapping the A button whenever I'm landing from a boost in car. That is a thing called an air tap, which basically gives us a nice little boost when we land. Preserves some more of our zipper speed when we land from it. So jumps are really nice to take in car, and we got some more in the next car track, which is after this one. Back into hovercraft though, we have the hardest hovercraft track. This is Pirate Lagoon. As I said, it's a really difficult hovercraft track. If you're a casual player and you don't know how to handle, this can be a really tough track. If you don't know that like the R button is king when playing a hovercraft, then this section right here can cause you a lot of problems. And it definitely does still cause a lot of problems even for speedrunners in the DS version of the game, which you should definitely try out. My first time mentioning DS this run, many more times to come. I'm contractually obligated to plug DKRDS everywhere I can, because I am one of the few speedrunners of it. And it's overhated.
Don't worry, I am aware of a certain 3DS enjoyer who would also do the same thing.
Shout out to Brandino. This is a good track to explain another aspect of every vehicle in this game, but the one where people probably don't know it's a thing is car. So you can control your airtime in this game quite well by pushing up or down on the joystick. So if you pull the joystick back, kind of like this, you can get extra air in the car. And that can be useful for jumping further. It's not all good, there is a happy medium between, well, the more you I forgot to grab the key. I was so busy explaining the car, I forgot to grab the key. You do not want to forget to grab the key. The more you pull back on the joystick, the more speed you will lose. But if you don't do it excessively, you will maintain most of your speed still. So there's a happy medium between trying to jump further and also maintain your speed. But yeah. A little bit sloppy because I forgot to grab the key, but missing it would have been worse. Completely forgetting it, which everyone's done at some point, would have been worse. There's a lot to explain in this game. I always forget every time I play this game just how much I have to... Like, every time I do a marathon run for this game, how much I have to talk in this game. There's so much to get through.
It's very involved for a racing game, because there's just so much in this game that besides just the regular racing.
Yes, this is like... I usually derust my games pretty quickly, but this is always the one speed game I play where I have to spend more time derusting just because there's so much going on. Like, I've got the inputs, you know, like, built into my brain, but, like, even then it takes a while sometimes. This is a pretty chill hopper track. Much easier than Pirate Lagoon. I would still say this is a pretty difficult one, mostly because of this ending section. You can try and grab that balloon there, but it's very inconsistent. I only tried on that one because we don't get this balloon near the beginning. Otherwise, I use this balloon near the beginning to get faster endings. Some people go for the ending strat all 3 laps. They are crazy. Oh, nice. That's a hard cutscene skip. It's technically faster to take a line off to the right there, but you want to be able to see the finish line to get the cutscene skip. And that's a pretty tough cutscene skip to get because it's usually at 15 FPS at the end. Even though that technically gives you the biggest window, the more lag there is, the more input delay there is, kind of just built into the game. So 20 FPS is generally the frame rate you want for getting cutscene skips. 15 FPS can be a bit too laggy. This guy says alcohol. I'm not going to be seeing him anymore. Sorry. Ah, why did I do that? I replaced my blue balloon there. I did not want to do that. This is one of the only tracks in the game where we actually want to build up to a triple balloon boost. Because we don't really have any good way to burn the balloons otherwise. The thing about using boosts in hover is that you have to kind of, before you can get back into A tapping after a boost, you kind of have to hold A for a bit. So it takes a little while before you can actually take off. So if we were burning like 9 balloons individually, that would make us just a lot slower because we'd have to take off 9 times, as opposed to just building up a triple and using it at the end there. But yeah, reset the console again, kind of same routine as Snowflake Mountain. Complete the first 4 races and the boss, and then we leave the area again. I'm Yahoo. He's Yahoo. Got our third Taj race here, the plane challenge. Conveniently, this puts us in plane already, so we don't actually have to switch afterwards. But yeah, this is a great track to talk about barrel rolling. So, as you can tell, barrel rolling gives you more speed in plane. But the way you do it matters. If I had like some kind of controller cam or input viewer right now, you'd see I'm not holding the A button at all. But because I don't have that, I am not holding the A button at all. This is because if you hold the accelerator in plane, it will actually drag you down to your vehicle's regular top speed. I mean, this applies to every vehicle, but it's much more relevant in plane. Because essentially this means that a lot of plane tracks we're actually barely touching the A button. We want to complete it really without using the A button at all, unless there's a situation that demands it, or we're trying to get the star boost, obviously. That's the only other case where we use A. There's a really bad place to bonk, but it's kind of the hardest one to avoid, because that section is always at 15 FPS. And really hard to build speed back up when you're at 15 FPS. We're actually going to go back into turn of domain now, though. So, there is one thing we didn't finish in Dino Domain, which is the trophy race. So generally, every world you play, you acquire 8 balloons, a minigame key, and TT amulet piece from winning the minigame. The key is also required for 100% completion. And then when you beat the second round of the boss, you get a Whizpig amulet piece, and finally, after you do that, you are able to play the trophy race of that world. When you do that, you'll... Wow, okay, that's rude. Get a golden trophy if you win the trophy race. And that is the final requirement for 100%, doing that in all 5 worlds. So yeah, we're just doing the trophy race now. So we basically go through all races again. CPUs are even stronger this time than they are in the Silver Coin challenges, so this is almost the strongest version of the CPUs you can race. I say almost because in the Adventure 2 mode you unlocked for completing Adventure, the CPUs are actually stronger throughout, but for Adventure 1 this is the strongest you're going to see the CPUs. I really want to see if I can get a sub-minute Fossil Canyon here, because my first Fossil Canyon was not very good. Ugh. Yeah. Okay, well, slim chances now. Ugh. That terrain can really mess you up. Really hard to predict what will happen. Holding A again to slow myself down. Okay. One thing about the Trophy Race AI is that it can actually be beneficial to have stronger CPUs, and this track is a great example of that, because on lap 2 here, normally we encounter the CPUs in the tunnel, which is annoying, but see in Trophy Race they're like right outside the tunnel, which is way nicer for us. There are a few other cases where Trophy Race, or Trophy Races can be nicer. Nice Triangle Falls. So now, we're going to the last race, Hot Top Volcano. We're going to do something a little different, and I don't mean the out of bounds. Well, we are going to be going out of bounds, but we're not going to be quite doing what you think. Okay, what just happened? You might be wondering. So, there is a ROM warp underneath the finish line in Hot Top Volcano. We have no idea why it's there, but it is there. And that just took us to Dragon Forest, which is the 4th world, which we're not meant to go there yet. Why has all of that happened? We're going to forget about that for now because we got a really hard minigame right here, but I'll explain it afterwards. So this is generally considered the hardest minigame, and I am not very good at it. There is a fast strat which I have not learned how to do, so I'm going to do the alternative, which is camping in place at this red balloon, getting it twice to upgrade it to a homing rocket, and just shooting the CPUs until they're gone. I'm going to chase Diddy Kong down here. Ah, that missile exploded against the stone arch. Even the camping is harder than it looks, because like trying to actually turn on the spot can be annoying. You have to leave the balloon's hitbox for it to be able to respawn. Oh, and that one didn't lock on. This can take a while. If they're in close range, or you've locked right onto them, you can use it with a single, if you're feeling cheeky. Okay, now we've only got Banjo to worry about. Oh, I could have done a cool thing there where I could have blown him up on his own mine, but... there we go. Okay. Always ends up very, very messy when I do it, but yeah, I promise I'll learn the fast strat eventually. I'm sorry for anyone who knows the fast strat and had to watch me do that. So we've got a TT amulet piece. We're going to do something really weird now. We're going to go back in. We're not going to do the minigame again. We're going to intentionally blow ourselves up here. And then you're going to see something that's going to make this even more confusing. What? How do we have the trophy? So, that was the final part of a very elaborate sequence that started as soon as we did the wrong warp in Hot Top Volcano, and concluded there. So when we warped out of Hot Top Volcano, we were still in the trophy race. And we just completed Darkwater Beach, we won it. And that gave us a TT amulet piece, and then we lost it, and that somehow gave us a trophy. And that wasn't just any trophy, it was the Sherbet Island trophy, even though we started it in Dino Domain, and in the cutscene it looked like it was awarding us the Dino Domain trophy. So what's gone on there is many things. First of all, the TT amulet piece takes priority over winning the trophy. So by winning it first, we're able to get the TT amulet piece, and still remain in the trophy race. But then, by losing the minigame afterwards, that essentially counts as a 4th place finish for the last race of the trophy race. And that is enough, still gives us enough points to get the gold trophy. So, yeah. And then there's another thing where the game doesn't care where you started the trophy race, it only cares where you finish the trophy race when it thinks about where to award you the trophy, or what role to award you the trophy for. So we just earned the Sherbet Island trophy by not actually doing any of Sherbet Island aside from losing Darkwater Beach. So yeah, there's like a million different things that had to just happen in the game's code for this to be possible, and they all happened, like having Hot Top Volcano be the last race of Dino Domain, having the wrong warp there in the first place, having it take you back to the overworld, the fact that like the TT amulet takes priority over the trophy, all of that had to go right for this glitch to be possible, and it's quite amazing that it's a thing. This is a really good part of the game. Like all of that while yapping about trophy storage. Nice. But yeah, the other nice thing is that the Dino Domain tracks are very, very fast. So, by far the fastest trophy to do as well, so it's very convenient. Basically what we're doing is we're using the faster Dino Domain races to get the trophies for other worlds that have longer races. Like normally Sherbet Island is maybe like 30 seconds longer than Dino Domain, I'd say. But if you add up the 4 tracks together, but yeah, we can just do that and save a lot of time. And additionally, it also means we don't actually have to go back to the world after we finish the second boss race. And like normally, we would only be able to do the trophy race after we finish the second boss race. Instead, we can just finish it, reset the console, and be out of there and never come back. So that saves additional time every time we do it. So yeah, whole load of things, and probably kind of hard to follow, but it is what it is. And it's what gives 100% an incredibly interesting route, because we're essentially completing each world only partially, and then finishing them off later, and it all comes together at the end. And somehow by the end of it we have everything in the game. So I've just spent 3 coin races explaining that. With the last coin race here, and then we will be doing Bubbler again. Pretty simple coin race again. Sherbet Island's coin races can be quite tough to do well, but oh yeah, I missed that coin. Oh, there's so many coins. Like, I'd say this is one of the harder worlds. I think that's mostly a me thing. I seem to struggle with this world more than some other players do. So I find this world quite difficult. But yeah. Make extra sure we grab that coin now. And I can complete the last lap as normal. Nice, let's try cutscene skip again. Again, that's a difficult cutscene skip again. That movement there, kind of hopping forward, seems to help speed us up. We've not got to accelerate for long, so we don't want to go into snaking, but that seems to push us forward if we hop while pushing up on the joystick. Yeah, alcohol boss again. I'm going to be leaving him in the dust again. The difference with this track in the second time round is that we have one less balloon to work with, but that's really not that big of a deal. The one that's more relevant for casual play is that he drops bubbles instead of mines, which are way more punishing if you get hit by them. They will come into play on lap 2 and lap 3 for us here. Gonna have to take some different lines to avoid them. But yeah, this is known as one of the most difficult races casually, and for good reason, honestly. Especially because it's really not intuitive to control the hovercraft until you like learn how to do speedrunning. Oh, big jump. Yeah, this one can be a nightmare, usually. Especially if you're using a slow character like Pipsy. Pipsy has the lowest top speed, but a lot of casual players do use her, which, fair, so did I. But yeah, pro tip, don't do that. And other pro tip is to maybe use a middleweight character like Conker or Bumper for this race instead if you're having trouble catching up with Pipsy, but still want good handling. Or if you feel like you want an extra bit of speed, I recommend using Banjo for that. If you don't have the unlockable characters TT and Drumstick, that is.
Speaking of characters, is this a good time to remind everybody of the bid war?
Oh yeah, certainly. How's that doing? How are we looking?
Yeah, so for anybody just tuning in now, we do have a bid war going on for the final race of the game you're currently watching. And if you donate money, currently Crunch is still in the lead at $20. But Pipsy and Banjo are not far behind at $10 each, so $11 could cause a little bit of pain, because from what I hear, Pipsy is not the character that Leo wants to be racing with for that last race. So small donation of $11, you could make that happen.
As much as I don't want to play Pipsy, it would be very funny. And that's what matters in the end. Crunch and Banjo are my boys, and Diddy is alright. He's an okay pick, so they're fine if you want me to have a good time, but if you want content, you know who to pick.
I know the people enjoy content.
But yeah, as I implied during the Sherbet Island coin races, we're basically going to be doing kind of a rinse and repeat thing with these down at the main races. So we're going to get up to Hot Top Volcano, we're going to walk around in Hot Top Volcano, and then go and finish off, ooh, good tilt on that. We're going to go and finish off, this time will be Snowflake Mountain. So we're going to go to Snowflake Mountain and then do our last race there to get the Snowflake Mountain trophy. And we will do that for the other two worlds after this, as well as Dino Domain itself. We've got to get the Dino Domain trophy at some point. We can't walk for all 5 of them. So one of them we will have to finish Hot Top Volcano normally. Ugh, that's really bad. That's really mean. They can just place it there sometimes. It's a really hard one to avoid. Ah, I didn't get any of those bananas there. Bananas should still be there on lap 2. Yeah, they are. I only picked up one of them. The CPUs can pick up bananas, but there are some that they don't really tend to pick up. These 3 bananas on the bridge in Jungle Falls are quite difficult to pick up quickly, so it's not too surprising if I missed them, but they are very nice ones to have, because that is a 7.5% boost to our speed and acceleration. Banana and hot double care, we're going to do the wrong warp again. Depending on what happens here, we might have something interesting to talk about. Oh, I missed it. It's a very, very small hitbox. Okay. There are some other places we can be taken, but Dragon, Forest, and Akara is the most common. So now we're going to go to Snowflake Mountain. Hold on to A there. One place where you do want to grab onto A in plane is if you can tell you need to slow down. It can be very useful for that. Right here we've got Icicle Pyramid. We can do something very cool right at the beginning here. You can basically immediately reverse and like that. That was actually found by a casual player accidentally. Speedrunners didn't even know about it. It was found by a casual player like many, many years ago. Probably in the long forgotten day of 2016. Oh dear, that's going to cause problems. I believe I've messed this up. Right, that's a problem. I didn't grab a homing rocket for Bumper. I should have killed Bumper, and I did not. So now we've got a problem. Okay, now Bumper's gone. Gotta kill Drumstick. Well, no. Gotta, that's a morbid word. Gotta remove him. He is our only bird representative in this game, after all.
we gotta make him duck out of the race.
Okay, there we go. Once you get them kind of stun-locked, you can pummel them with single rockets pretty easily. I lost maybe... I don't know how much. A little bit. Normally there's a very nice fast kill strat you can do to get rid of all of them very quickly, but it's not a huge deal. And just like with Sherbet Island, we're going to be doing the lose here. It's a bit easier in car than with hover. That gives us a 4th place finish on the trophy. And now we have the Snowflake Mountain trophy. Again, it looks like it's in Dino Domain, but it's actually the Snowflake Mountain. So now we're going to go and do the coin races, as normal. These can be some very tough coin races, especially this one. Again, lag village, usually at 15 FPS at the very beginning there. Not surprised I missed that coin, it's pretty hard to get. Have to get that on lap 2, or lap 3. One way off here. Nice, that was clean. Posts. Is everything okay?
I can see things again.
Okay, yeah, I disconnected for a second. I don't know why that happened. It's okay, you didn't miss much. Are we all live on the stream now? We're back? Good to know. Okay. Oh, nice first try. That can be a really rough cutscene skip, much like Whale Bay, because of the low frame rate near the end there.
And is this a good time to chime in with a donation?
Yeah, sure.
Because we have $50 from CJ. I'm matching another $50 that already was donated. I'll match up to another $200 if we can get it in. Call my bluff. So chat, you heard the man. Donate another $200 and he will match that entire amount. So be sure to get that money in before that offer is rescinded. And he did put all 50 of those dollars towards Crunch. Ooh. So if the people want to see somebody other than Crunch, they really gotta pony up a little bit more money now.
I was fearing that you would say Pipsy there. I'm very glad to know you didn't.
Yeah, Crunch is ahead by a whopping $60 now.
I would really like to get a good race here, but I probably won't because this is a very hard track. The Dream will be getting a sub-minute here. Quite a fun route on this one. You've always got to juggle getting the coins and getting the bananas at the same time. Because like a lot of the coins you will want to get on lap 1, but of course you want the bananas on lap 1 as well, so you can get the most out of them, have them for longer. Might focus to us. Okay. Oh, not quite a 59, but really close. I didn't get the cutting skip, but... I'm still a good... That's still a good... I almost used track abbreviation. Still a good Everfrost beat coins. Like, anything like around the 1 minute range is really good. But you can get yeah, most of this track's coins on that. Here, so I'm going to take a bit of a wide line to get them. Yep. This is at a much healthier 9, and we're going to get to 10 by the end of the lap. You can use this balloon early to like hill hop there, but I do not like that strat. I'm probably going to offend the people who do use that strat, but I think it's way harder and saves barely any time than just chaining the balloon into the zipper at the end. Fight me. It's a very, very high level strat, and I'm kind of like the only high level runner that doesn't do it. I should have gone for it there actually, that's the last chance I had to go for it. Oh well. Oh, whoops. Nice. Are we all okay on the tech end?
It looks like the people can watch some Diddy Kong racing in relatively good quality, so I think we're good.
Nice.
If you can beat me again, I'll give you a special prize.
So second time around here, we've really just got a lot less balloons to work with, so a lot of this is just going to be just standard hover movement, just snaking and attacking.
Alright, is it fine if I chime in with a little announcement then?
Yeah, sure, certainly.
All right. Well, with that $50 donation that we had from CJ a little while ago, we did reach the first milestone for the Speed Ducks bonus day. And so we reached $1,800, which means we will have Quo's Mario Party Island Tour run. But that also means we could tell you about the next run for that bonus day in the bonus weekend, because the next run is Super Mario Odyssey Taka 2% by Weird TH. And so if we reach $1,900, you'll be able to see some Odyssey where they have to talk to the bird a whole bunch. And I know that people want to see that, so be sure to get those donations in to reach it.
Copyright Rare 1997. What a great year. It's always weird to speedrun a game. It's a weird feeling to speedrun a game that's older than me. Like, I'm a 2000s one, but it's kind of crazy to think about. Like, I also speedrun Donkey Kong Country Returns, which was released in 2010. And we're now in the era where we're having some people join that community who are younger than the game, and I don't want to believe that's real.
Before we get too far into this next trophy race, we're going to have to take a brief intermission for tech stuff.
Oh.
So don't go anywhere. We will be back very shortly, everybody.
Stay tuned.
All right. We are back from our brief intermission. Hopefully the only crunch we'll be getting from now on is the one winning the bid war. So go ahead and take us back into it, Leah.
Alright, we paused in the middle of a race, but not at a bad spot, thankfully, so we're just going to go ahead and get this thing started in 3, 2, 1, and go. Slightly weird hand position there because I had to unpause my own timer. So I can see my splits, but yeah, we're all good. Just business as usual in Ancient Link, really. But yeah, we're going to go ahead and do the Dino Trophy right here, actually. So we're going to finish our top volcano normally. Well, as normal as an out of bounds finish is, really. But, yeah. You might wonder why I've been tapping the speedometer on and off a few times during this run. Not too much yet, but I have been doing it in a couple places. Well, this all plays into the lag thing that I've mentioned many times. Namely that the speedometer will cause a little frame drop because it's coded very weirdly. And it like refreshes code like every frame or something like that. Something silly. So bringing it up will cause a lag spike on the spot generally. And we can use that in a few places to trigger just a low frame rate where we're coming off a boost and want to have a low frame rate for it to last longer. And it's also very useful for something else later on. Probably the single biggest use is for a certain out of bounds towards the end. Really? Hello? Hello?
Hello?
I disconnected for like 1 second again. I don't know why that happened again. I hope that hasn't messed everything up. Oh dear. Ooh, wasn't sure if I got out of bounds there.
Alright. Unfortunately, it seems that everything might have gotten a little messed up by that, so when we get a moment, we are going to have to head back to intermission once again.
Yeah. Just give me 15 seconds.
Yeah, the game is fighting back today.
Yeah. And there's our Dino Trophy, actually in Dino Domain this time. So when we get this trophy cutscene, we're going to go pause the timer again. In about 3, 2, 1, and pause.
go ahead and mute, and I'll tell you when we're live, Sam.
Sounds good. All right, everybody, we're back once again with Diddy Kong Racing. So let's just go ahead and get right back into it, Leah.
Yep, I'll start again in 3, 2, 1, and go.
All right. Everybody, hold on to your butts. All right, go ahead.
Cross our fingers.
Alright, 3, 2, 1, and unpause. The run must go on. Whoops, I did not mean to split there. I did not just gold that by 3.5 minutes.
We take the 3.5 minutes from the intermission and put it into your splits, give you the free gold.
Yeah, easy win. You know, speedrunning, why don't you just start the timer later, that way you get a free world record. Oh, you definitely don't if you miss that zipper though. We've been partially sabotaged by my internet and partially by other tech things, but The run must go on. And wow, this is a really bad Fossil Canyon. Oh, do not hit me. Everything is going wrong in this Fossil Canyon. It's okay, we have one more afterwards to redeem ourselves. I don't think I've gotten a single sub-minute Fossil Canyon today. Considering my best time is a 53, that's a little worrying, but we have one more chance after this. But yeah, we're doing the Dragon Forest trophy now. Oh, whoa. So this will be the last time we see these tracks for a little while, but not in the run as a whole. We'll see them one more time afterwards, towards the end. Oh, whoops. Okay, I was fully prepared to not actually get the Dragon Forest card there. So while we play Haunted Woods here, just to get our Dragon Forest trophy, I do actually explain a bit more about the Wrong Walk in general, because so far, all 3 times we've been sent to Dragon Forest in a car, that is the most common outcome. About 75% of the time we'll get sent there. It's not the only outcome. You can also be sent, at about a 1 in 8 chance each, you can also be sent to either the Overworld, by the Taj map, or you can be sent to Dragon Forest but in a plane instead. And both of those have implications. Dragon Forest in a plane, commonly known as just Dragon Plane. If we had gotten that in the first 3 walks, that would have given us a chance to save about 24 seconds. I'll explain why later, because it's a bit complicated, but the other one is if we get Overworld. If we get Overworld on any trophy other than Dragon Forest, we will save a bit of time by being put closer to the world it's in. If we get it for Dragon Forest, however, we actually lose like 10 to 15 seconds, because it puts us, well, not in Dragon Forest, so it's really bad to get it for Dragon Forest. But anyway, actually playing Dragon Forest now. This is probably the hardest out of bounds in the run. Really like to get 9 bananas here if we can. I just hope I hit this. Okay, there we go, and we even maintain a bit of speed. So this is Wimmel Plains. Oh, do not go back in bounds. So it's quite a tough clip. I think before like 2016 or something, that wasn't even considered like RTA viable. Now like a lot of runners do it, but it's probably still the hardest out of bounds in the run. You need a lot of speed to make it, so more bananas the better. And the actual out of bounds movement is not the easiest either. We could finish out of bounds, that would be a bit faster, but we actually want to go back in bounds just so we can see the finish line more easily. But yeah, that's Wimmel Plains. This is one of my favourite card tracks. I love this track, Greener Village. It's also one of the hardest card tracks that we do in the run. You'll also hear fast tapping there. This is probably the least laggy track we play. Oh dear. Probably the least laggy card track in the game. So a lot of this is actually at 30 FPS, even though we've got music on, creating some extra lag for us. And ideally in 30 FPS, oh dear, that's a really bad place for an North Slave. Ideally at 30 FPS you'll be tapping 7.5 times a second. If you want to hear what that sounds like, find a 450 BPM metronome and listen to it. That's what that sounds like. Ideally anyway. However, you don't have to tap that fast. Like, yes, it's optimal to do so, but you can get by just fine with like the 5 times per second rate I mentioned earlier. It's quite a cool strat there where I put on the indicators very briefly to generate a little bit of lag, because otherwise that finish line is usually at 30 FPS. So, oh dear, I missed the start boost. If it's at 30 FPS, it's a bit tight to hit the frame. I mean, obviously it would be 1 in 30 window to hit the cutscene skip. Words. Putting the indicators up can keep it at 20 for a bit longer, so we can have a 20 FPS cutscene skip instead, which is a bit easier. This is Boulder Canyon. Pretty bad first lap already, but whoa, those are slicks. Wow. You have a key to get here. Oh, no, okay. Do not want to miss that. This track is weird. It has some parts that are like extremely laggy, like 15 FPS, like that, and like that, and then other parts that are a clean 30. Like, kind of got a whole range of them in this track. 15, 20, 15. Okay. As our last key, a reminder that we do actually have to get the keys as well for 100% to count. You might wonder, well, how else would you get to the minigames anyway? There is a way. If you get Dragon Plane, you could actually just fly out of bounds and go into that minigame early. But yeah. And now, Horny Woods again, hopefully a better one than last time, because the last one wasn't very good. Well, very good first lap. It's another one of my favourite car tracks, I really like this one. Even though I miss that zipper though, I can still maintain a lot of speed if I get a good air tap. Tap A before I hit the ground to maintain some more speed from the zipper. Oh, and I did not press A apparently. Still a very good Horner Woods. Low 42 is very solid. Generally if you get a 42 or better, that's really good for Horner Woods. Excellent.
Now I challenge you to a race.
Is Ponytail here in chat? Alright. First boss that we're doing in a plane. And this is one of those plane tracks, so you know what's coming. Do not get hit by that wind blade. Ooh, careful. Oh, that nearly went really poorly. Monk ass. But yeah, you might have noticed I used the speedometer when I clipped out there. That makes that clip like 100 times easier. It is possible without the speedometer. We used to do it that way, and it was like horrible because it would always end our runs. Because keep in mind, you do every boss twice, you gotta do that twice. So yeah, that would have been, used to be absolutely horrible. But now we have the C press. That's generally what we call it because it's you press the C right button. We have the C press and it makes it like close to 100% consistent. which is amazing. And it's also faster. You gotta love when something is faster and easier. Literally no disadvantages to it. And hopefully I can show this off better the second time round, but when I clipped out, I also got like a kind of ceiling zip, which saves some time, although it can go poorly if you don't do it quite right. But for now we got our last minigame here. Minigames have been very, very hit and miss. None of them have really been good. This is the easiest minigame though, so hopefully this one's at least decent. If we're too slow here, then Crunch, or whichever CPU's in his spot, will shoot us, but thankfully we were fast enough that that didn't happen. Don't want to be too fast there, or you miss the banana entirely. They take a bit to respawn. Yeah, it's a very simple minigame. And it's the only one that's played in the car. So just going back and forth, doing laps really. Drifting up slopes makes us faster. And there we are. So now we have the complete TT amulet. That was a gold split apparently. I don't know if I believe that, but cool. Fun fact, the TT amulet is actually chocolate wrapped in golden foil. Don't believe me? Well, you shouldn't, because I just lied. Or am I?
No, I'll believe you anyway.
We go from that, go from easy minigame straight to literally the hardest race in the run. I'm not gonna lie, I have been dreading this race. I dread this race every single run, because this is a nightmare. First things first. You get barely any bananas at the start of this track. Like, the most you can get is like 6 or 7. Don't say it, don't say it. Second, you can do this with a single balloon, but I prefer to get a double balloon for safety, because I have messed this track up in at least like, well not this track, but like this race, up in like at least half of my 100% PBs, I would say. Yeah, this is just a super scary race. So many things can go wrong. At least super tight, like, line to grab both the balloon and the silver coin right near the beginning, which causes a lot of problems, especially for those who have bad joysticks, like I used to. Right here we go back in bounds. We kind of do half and half in this track. We do half of lap 1 inbounds, and then we do the second half of lap 3 inbounds. But we still get the benefit of being out of bounds for 2 laps. And that's right. That was decent. My PB gets like a really bad time loss there, loses like 30 seconds. But that was okay. For the record, you can do the out of bounds without a balloon, but it is very, very difficult and not RTA viable, really. Or you'd be insane to attempt it in RTA. It's what we have to do in Time Trials, because Time Trials doesn't have balloons, but you would be insane to attempt it in RTA. Ah, it's done. This race, Rio Village Coins, is commonly known as one of the hardest races in the game casually. Probably the single hardest coin race casually, and it was a massive problem for me as well when I was growing up. With speedrun strats in TT, it's pretty simple, but like, yeah, this is a really hard race to win your first time you play the game. Oh, did not hit that bubble. I still love this track though, it's a very, very fun one to drive. Ooh, whoops. Messed up my drift switch. Boulder Canyon. Don't miss the start boost this time. do miss the banana because Diddy stole it from me. How rude. It's okay, there are plenty of backup bananas. There is a coin to my left there. I'm going to avoid it and only get it on lap 3. Oh dear, I am really low on the potassium. You call this potassium deficiency. You could have like 10 bananas right now, but I do not have 10 bananas. Thankfully those 3 bananas I missed there, the CPUs don't tend to pick them up, so I can grab them right now. There we are, now return. There's also a coin off to my left there. I'm also going to get that on lap 3 because... Oh wait, slip off the joystick, that helps. Because I want to be fast going into the castle on lap 3. Unfortunately I've not been very fast this time, but I want to like have as few CPUs there as possible, so I can get lagless on that boost. Which I did actually get there, even though I had 2 in my peripheral vision. I'm not gonna lie, if I had missed that coin, that would have been just the worst mistake I could have made in the run. If I missed that coin and didn't react to it, that would have been a really bad mistake. Good thing I grabbed it. Could be kind of scary to grab that one on lap 3, but it is faster to do so, usually. This is a track where usually the CPUs will just roundhouse you at the start of lap 1. As nice as this track is to play. We're going to pick up the coins on lap 3 here, because we'd like to outpace the CPUs. If we get them all on lap 1, then they can kind of get in our way later. If we outrun them first, and then we kind of meet up with them on the lap where we're going slow anyway to grab the coins. So it's much nicer. Ah. Alright. We have 39 balloons. We have 4 pieces of the TT amulet. We have 4 minigame keys. We have 4 golden trophies. And we are getting our 4th piece of the Whizbig amulet. So, we're coming up to the end of the first part of the game. There is more after this, but for most people who didn't know about the actual final world of the game, this is where the game would almost end. For me as a kid, this is where the game ended. But first we gotta do out of bounds again. Smoky out of bounds. Ceiling boost? Ceiling boost, nice. The fling. It's not really a fling, more like a slingshot. Yep, it's pretty much the same as before. It's crazy how much of this track you can cut off. Like, there are only 2 checkpoints to hit, and they're like really far out of the way. Like, that entire like right part of the track on the map we're not touching. This is really good. Is this a 48? Almost a 48, hello. Hello? Hello? My reset button's not working. My console's reset button stopped working. Oh no. Okay, well, to back that up I just flicked the power off and on. But...
Gets the job done.
That is a really confusing time for it to break in the middle of a run. I don't know if it's broken, but like, it clearly had problems there.
I'd argue there's no more appropriate time at this rate.
Everything's breaking. Oh yeah, this cutscene used to scare me as a kid. I vividly remember, Sotage. I vividly remember playing the game on emulator for the first time and like, cheating in like, you know, all collectibles, and then like that cutscene will play the moment you enter a file if you do that. Like, that can kind of freak out someone who's below the age of 10. But what's more terrifying than that is probably the frame rate drops on this track when you play with music on. Possibly out of character for the way this run's been going, but the low frame rate here is not on the streams, and that is actually the game. This track is like actually at 15 FPS for the majority of it when you have music on. This track is like the single laggiest in the game by about the distance from the Earth to the Sun. So doing comfortable 15 FPS tapping for most of this, 3.75 times a second, 225 BPM. This part's a bit higher frame rate. Oh dear. Okay.
With all of this lag, does that mean we have some extra time to read a quick donation?
Yeah, definitely.
Alright, because we have $5 from Johannian, back from his Mario Kart World run earlier. And it simply says, quack.
I assume if we had had him in as an option, then that would have gone towards Drumstick, the rooster.
Who knows?
That's the closest thing we have.
But unfortunately, $5 would not have been enough to upset that bid war, because Crunch is still heartily in the lead by $60, and there's not too much time left before the results of that bid war will come to fruition.
Right, that is the last console reset we had to do. So from here it's a pretty straight shot to the end. Thought to charge one last time. Actually going to hover challenge of all things. Because this is technically the fastest way to move. So if you get all 4 golden trophies from the first 4 worlds, I know my voice is dying, and then beat Wisbig, you will... This will happen if you go by the sign, the trophy sign. Cat jams in chat. Who would have thought? Welcome to Future Funland. So this is our grand finale of the run. These secret space worlds that a lot of people never knew existed, but it is real. And these tracks are really difficult, starting with potentially the hardest of them all, actually. I mentioned Wimble Plains Coins as the hardest race, but like, in most other aspects, this is the hardest track. And I want to let it speak for itself, I think. There is an out of bounds on this track, but it's not really viable for RTA runs. So, let's do this one inbounds, and it's one of the coolest looking inbounds tracks. Ah, not if you missed the balloon. You might have noticed plane is the worst vehicle to bonk in. Any bonk will lose you at least like a solid 5 seconds usually in plane. It just takes longer to build your speed back up in plane than the other vehicles. Ooh, Mr. Balloon, that's fine. There we go, we grab onto A in this cave section because we can't really do any barrel rolls. One of the few times we do A tapping in plane, and... oh, I missed it. I really wanted to get that cutscene skip, but it's okay, I have 3 more chances to get that. Because cutscene skips are a little different in Future Funland. Just a little. Did you like the music in the Lighthouse cutscene? Because here it is. for a whole track. And this is the longest track in the game, so you get a lot of it.
Giving the people what they want.
This is, in many aspects, like, probably top 3 hardest car tracks to do well. The terrain can go mess you up in so many ways. It's like Space Fossil Canyon, basically. Also, it has 2 loop-de-loops. Which reminds me of something I should be doing. That's food for thought. Don't worry about what's going on in my brain. It'll make sense if I get it. Okay. Maybe don't try that one. But what if I get this one? Okay, not this time. We have more opportunities, it's okay. Also, this track can also be known as the lag caverns, because like Frosty Village, this is a really laggy track usually. Nice 15 FPS now. Ooh, do not want to go too tight there. Yeah. Ah, I didn't get it. It's okay, we have more chances. Nice. So you probably just noticed I just resetted. I tried to say reset and restarted at the same time. I just reset the race instead of going back to the lobby. What am I doing here, and why am I now in the coins race? Well, in the other worlds, the coin race is locked behind, first of all completing the race the first time, but also doing the boss that's in between the first 4 races. Except in Future Funland, there is no in-between boss. So we just do the races, and then we immediately have access to the coin races, technically. However, they're locked behind higher balloon requirements. The way we avoid that is by doing a cutscene skip. So we get the completion of the first race, but then we immediately go back into the track, and now it's the coin race. So pick up this. Really want to make sure you pick up that coin in the loop entry there. Nice, nice. Yes. Oh god, where am I? Let's go. We got the out of bounds. Okay, that's why I was smashing into the side of the loop a couple times. That is the Dark Moon Caverns out of bounds. One of the few out of bounds you can do that's not in plane. Let's try this. You can do it on this silver loop as well, but it's much harder. I didn't get it twice. Okay, at least I got it once. Nice. I'm really glad I got to show that off. It's not the hardest thing ever on the red loop, but it's really hard on the first loop. The colour of the first loop is actually kind of debated. Some people say it's blue, some people say it's grey, who knows. But for the time being, we've actually just gone out of FFL here, FFL Future Funland, to do our last repetition of Dino Domain, because we need to get the Future Funland trophy as well. Technically, you don't need the Future Funland trophy to actually complete the game, but because you can unlock the final boss and beat the final boss and unlock Adventure 2 without actually getting the Future Funland trophy. But for 100% per our SRC rules, it is required. So we get to do this one last time. Because, well, it is a thing you can get in the game. It should constitute 100%.
Well, while we're running these tracks again, I actually have a question. I noticed the game is in Japanese.
Oh yes, I never explained that. Thank you for reminding me. Yes, the game is... This is the Japanese version of the game. There are 5 versions of DKR. There are... they're sorted into the 3 regions, and then... So you've got Japanese, you've got American, and you've got European PAL. And the American and PAL versions additionally have versions 1.0 and 1.1. So there are 5 total versions of the game. Only one Japanese version, which is really convenient. So as you might have guessed, the Japanese version was the first one to release. So, as tends to be the case quite often, there are things that happen in the first version of the game that they don't notice, so they patch it in the future versions. There are 2 things that make Japanese fastest. The first one is the ROM warp. So I mentioned the ROM warp, where we were usually ending up in Dragon Forest in a car, but we can also end up in Dragon Forest in a plane or in the overworld. Those alternate outcomes are only a thing on the Japanese version. If you are playing US or PAL 1.1, you will end up in the overworld every time. And if you're playing US or PAL 1.0, the game will crash if you do the wrong warp, which is... well, okay, crash is a bit misleading. It's more like a soft lock, because when it wrong warps us, it's trying to find it's trying to find like a very specific value in the memory to take us to. And in 1.0, PAL and US, that value is blank. So it just kind of sends us to a black screen, which effectively constitutes a crash. The other thing that makes Japanese faster, we're actually going to be seeing in the next race. So, very good timing on that. One last long warp. Can I hit it first try? No, I can't. Again, very small hitbox. It's very unintuitive to find. There we are. It'd be really funny if I got Dragon Plane right now. Nah, boring. Quadruple Dragon Cars, boring. Oh well. The best outcome is Overworld for all of them, except for getting a Dragon Plane on Dragon Trophy. But anyway. To get our trophy, we're going to do this track, which is the shortest one in Future Funland, Spaceport Alpha. Needed to lock into that start boost there. Kind of tight line I do there. This is the other reason why Japanese is faster, because this track has an out of bounds, which is only on the Japanese version, and it's a really silly one. I'm going to let it speak for itself and then explain it. So, you might have wondered what I just did. On the Japanese version, they literally forgot to put a polygon there, so you can fall out of bounds very easily by doing that. It's a really silly mistake, but I make silly mistakes, I get it. But yeah, that lets us do this track way more quickly. Saves about a good 30 seconds, 25 to 30 seconds, depending on how good you can, depending on how well you can do the inbounds. So yeah, very useful one to have. Hello. I accidentally went too far left there. I didn't hit the finish line, I just triggered it a bit later. Not what I wanted to do, but that's fine. It's worse if you missed the checkpoint entirely. So now, I'm gonna go back into Spaceport Alpha and do the exact same thing again. Because we were gonna play this track anyway. So, literally the same race back to back. Only time you do this in a run, doing the exact same race twice in a row. But yeah, the other thing about the Dragon Plane warp, and the reason why it can potentially save time. So if you remember in Dark Moon Caverns, I reset the race the first time to go straight to the silver coin race instead of doing the regular cutscene skip and going back to the lobby. That is effectively what you can do in Dragon Forest if you get the Dragon Plane warp, because what you can do is you can go out of bounds in the lobby, because they never put a ceiling on it, you're not supposed to have plane there. And you can go and do the first Smoky race early. Nice. So effectively then, you can do the same reset race cutscene skips in Dragon Forest, and each one of those saves an additional 6 seconds in a lobby movement you would otherwise have to do. So that's why Dragon Plane is quite useful to have, and it's kind of the holy grail of 100% in some ways. And this is our last out of bounds coin race. We'll do much the same way we did the other ones. Get half the coins on lap 1, go out of bounds, and then come back in at the end of lap 3. And we've just got a raid from No Fish. Hello, raiders.
Indeed we did. Thank you for the raid, everybody.
Sorry I couldn't participate in this one, the timing didn't work out for me. So I'm gonna do this so we actually load in this section so I can see where I'm going. This coin, that coin, and that coin. Would have liked to do a barrel roll there, but my spacing didn't really work. And there we go. The triple spacebar alpha. So this is our penultimate track of the run, although we are going to have to go back and do Space Dust Alley coins because we didn't get the reset race cutscene skip on Space Dust Alley. Aside from that though, this is our penultimate track in the run. Not the penultimate race, but...
Yeah, it sounds like if the people want to get a last-minute upset in the bid war, they're running out of time.
Yes, reminder that the suffering generator is Pipsy. Crunch is currently in the lead, and I would not mind playing with him at all, but if you want extra content on top of everything that's already happened, then now's your chance.
Yeah, Crunch is ahead at $70 at the moment, so it will take a hefty effort to dethrone him. But I believe in everybody. I believe that we can inflict extra suffering if we all band together.
Generally do like to use the shield within on lap 3 because, or on lap 2 or 3 because sometimes there can be traps in the city section. But not this time, okay. So with any luck... That was a really fast Star City actually, wow. We got the reset race cutscene skip, so 3 for 3 on those. If you think about it, reset race cutscene skips, saving an additional 6 seconds over a regular one, means they save about 12 seconds over not anyone at all. So, very, very important time save to have at the very end of the run. Because, you know, if you miss all 4 of them, that's 48 seconds. That's a lot of time. Especially for a frame-perfect trick. But yeah. This will be our third to last race of the run. We've got to redo Space Dust Alley after this. But, yeah. And the final coin of this track is right here. Bit of a sketchy one to grab, but you could be faster but still. If you fall off that bridge, there is no path underneath, so you have to actually just get back on the bridge from the beginning. This is not the case in the DS version though, which I've mentioned shockingly little in this run. In the DS version there is actually a path on the bottom and it's faster, so yeah, you don't have to worry about that in DS. Zipper. That zipper is one of the few cases where we're forcing the car down, trying to push up on the joystick to get less air. Oh, well, it's like right there. Kind of messed up my timing. But alright. Penultimate race of the run. Last race to donate $51 to Pipsy to inflict some extra suffering.
And remember, if you donate $51, CJ will match that $51 as well, if you need extra incentive.
But I mean, if he did donate $51 in the same race, he would probably donate it to Crunch, wouldn't he? He donated it to Crunch before, so...
I mean, depends on if he gets it in time, though, because this is very close to the cutoff.
Yeah, only got about 50 seconds. There was a coin I should have grabbed on lap 1 and I kind of forgot about it. But we can go get it on lap 2. So, right up here, that coin. Oh, those poles are solid. They are made out of pole. We have one coin left, and it is at the very end. It's technically fastest to grab it on lap 3, so we're going to grab it there. Because it means we have to miss that balloon if we grab it. So, best to grab it on lap 3. Otherwise, we would use the balloon for lap transition speed. Timber's in the way. Oh. Nice. Very fast last lap. That's how this track looks if you do it really well. Alright. Dead center here. Final cutscene skip. Nice. So I've actually just exited back to the main menu here. Who am I playing?
We did not have a last-minute snipe, so we will be getting some crunch.
Excellent. That makes me very happy. Alright, you probably immediately noticed there that Crunch has terrible acceleration. You'll see it again here. And he's a big boy. He's probably got the biggest character model. So, a little bit like Crunch, he has a reputation among casual players, and for good reason. He has absolutely terrible handling and terrible acceleration. The advantage he has is that he has very good speed. He has the 3rd highest speed, and the highest speed out of the base cast, no unlockable characters. So that's going to be very useful for us, because speedrunners can work around the terrible handling to an extent. So yeah, for speedrunners he is the 4th best character and the 2nd best non-unlockable. If you'd given me Pipsy instead, I would have had to play with the slowest character with the highest handling, which sounds like a good thing, but trust me, it's not. She turns too much. But yeah. I was gonna say we would get a 148 if we do this well, but I don't even know what the time is anymore. I've paused and unpaused the timer so many times, I don't even know what the timer is, let alone if my time's the same as the stream time.
Don't worry, the chat doesn't know what the time will be either. Because the stream timer might have gotten a little messed up.
Oh, nice. Oh no, I went back in. Ugh! I was gonna say, oh nice, I got out of bounds, and then I ended up going back in and undoing that. So we're gonna try again on lap 2. That's kind of the problem, you need to turn pretty quickly after you get out of bounds, and I'm like playing the worst possible character for turning pretty quickly. But trust me, the speed is helpful, trust. Oh no, I'm gonna get shot. I did not get shot, right. Okay. The rare inbounds Whizpig too. Yeah, it's pretty scary out of bounds to go for sometimes. Right, hopefully we get it this time and actually stay in it. Nice. Hard B turn afterwards, so we actually stay out of bounds this time. So just 3 checkpoints in this track, not much time to go. And the time will end as soon as I cross the finish line on lap 3, so get ready in like 20 seconds. Checkpoint in that Whizpig head can be kind of elusive sometimes. Coming up on the final turn. And... time.
GG's.
I have no clue what the time of that run was. What my light split got after pausing and unpausing like 3 or 4 different times was 1:49.17. I don't know what it is on the stream. Hopefully still a 1:49 at least. Can we check what it is on the stream?
The stream timer got messed up, and so it is not even above an hour. So we'll just trust it was around like 1:51-ish is what the people are saying. But regardless of what the actual final time was, it was a phenomenal run, despite everything that happened during it. So if you have any closing words, if you want to tell the people where they can find you.
Oh yeah, definitely. Quickly going back to the run, I just want to say, if a 1:49.17 is somewhat accurate, which I think is like close enough, with it give or take like 20 seconds, then I'm very glad I got a sub 150, because sub 150 is kind of the benchmark for getting really good at this category. My PB is a low 146, and the world record is a 141, so still a little bit to go there, but generally anything sub 150 is really good for marathon standards. So very happy with that, especially with the extra time loss at the end from switching characters. That takes a bit of time to do, maybe an extra like 40 seconds or so. So 148 material, which is really nice. Enough about the run now. This game is fantastic. Everyone loves this game. Like, everyone who's played this game loves it. But there's a shockingly small speedrunner community. Like, it's sizable, but it's definitely not as big as you would expect for the 8th best-selling game on the N64. So I definitely recommend getting into this game if you have the means to do so. And what am I going to say? I must say this game's community is like my favourite speedrunning community. It has got the nicest people, both online and in real life. Everyone's really, really helpful. Yeah, it's just been my favourite community to hang out with. Do I have anything else to say? Shout out to everyone. I'm not going to list names because I'll definitely forget people. And play Diddy Kong Racing DS. That is me signing off. I will be back tomorrow though with Yohane blazing the Deep Blue, so stay tuned, and thank you for watching.